Hi everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Talking Business here on the Pardo's Business YouTube channel. Today we've got Viren, a teacher by trade, but also capable of many other things, as you're about to find out in today's episode 3 of Talking Business. Here you are, here's Viren. Okay, hi everyone, welcome to Talking Business here. We've got Viren here today. Morning to you, Viren.
Morning, everyone. You all right?
Yeah, thank you. So we're going to talk a couple of things here. We'll get into those in a minute. Let's go with the standard questions to kick off with. Where are you today, Viren, other than at home?
I'm currently in my office at home in Bolton, sunny Bolton, where
Sunny
the weather's
Bolton.
always, yeah.
Marvellous. And if you don't mind me asking, then let's get into you a little bit. So what
Yeah.
did you study? Did you go university, college and all that?
Yeah, so I did my GCSEs, A-levels, and then I went to university. So I went to Lancaster University in 2008, and I studied economics and international relations. After that, I decided to go on to do my PGC at Manchester Metropolitan University, and that was in business education.
Brilliant. So are you a teacher now then? Is that your current full-time job?
Yeah, so I'm currently a teacher at a college in Preston, teaching economics at A level.
Okay, fantastic. So we know then you've got the education background then, and I know that you've worked abroad before as well, over in Dubai, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I taught in Dubai for a couple of years, and obviously I've moved back. But I am planning on going back out there this next academic year.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be going back out teaching in Dubai again.
All right. And what's kind of pulling you back out there at the moment then, in terms of, you've got the choice of staying or going. So what's pulling you out there?
I mean, there's a range of factors. I mean, the weather obviously is a big one. I mean, we are lucky at the moment to have weather like this, but to have it all year round is great. It's just a different feeling. The whole lifestyle is completely different.
Mhm.
It feels a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more slow pace. And the actual culture in Dubai, it's amazing because you've got a mix of different cultures, and I think that's one of the main reasons as to why I want to go back out there and teach abroad.
Right. And is there still a call for that? Obviously with airlines not flying and people being displaced and education changing, it would seem, the plans are changing day by day at the moment. Is there still a call for teachers from Britain to go to Dubai? Because it's been very popular the last
Yeah.
5, 10 years or so, and a lot of new teachers go there. So is there still a demand for people like yourself to go over there, even in this kind of situation
Yeah.
you're in now?
Well, I mean, there probably still are some restrictions on travel. However, I spoke to some of my old colleagues in Dubai, and some of the members in the leadership team, and they were saying that we are still needed. Our jobs are secure. There is still a demand for teachers. They've still got students that need teaching, so we have to be available.
That's great to know that that kind of international
Yeah.
exchange is still going on, because obviously the media only give us a certain side of views, and a lot of it is towards the negative. So it's nice to hear that there's still a demand for that international kind of culture exchange and the teachers traveling around and things. So that's good to hear. Um,
Yeah.
so moving on then from your business side, a few years back you started a little catering business, if I remember correctly. Could you tell us a little bit about that and what that was all about and why you did it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was a small street food business that I started up with one of my friends.
Okay.
Um, the actual idea behind it came about with me, just me and my dad working in the garden. We had a few bits of spare material in the garden, and obviously my dad he really enjoys cooking, and he used to cook for different events, and he used to do a little bit of catering.
Right.
So I picked up my interest from my dad really.
Okay.
Um, and then we decided to do a little project in the garden and use up some of those materials that we had. And we both really love tandoor food, like food that's cooked in the tandoor oven.
Yeah.
So me and my dad decided to actually build our own out of some of the material that we had in the garden. So we had like beer barrels, a clay pot. So we decided to just try and build something. And it actually worked out well. So we created this tandoor oven in the back garden, and we decided to start cooking some food on it. And we had people coming round, and they're always complimenting how good the food tasted. And that's where I decided, okay, I could potentially do something with this here. It's something that I really enjoy doing. Why can't I make something out of it? So me and my friend decided, okay, let's start up a street food business. And it all went from there, really. Bit by bit, we started gathering all of our resources. We started inquiring to different events, people who would hold street food events up in the Midlands, down in the Midlands and up in Manchester. And we secured a few events. We made ourselves known on social media. I wasn't great at that sort of stuff, but my friend was, and that's why I decided to go into business with him, really, because he had that experience of working with social media, whereas I was more into the cooking side of things. And it all just progressed from there, really.
Right. So you didn't have, in terms of like the initial resources, that the theory is that you have to require loads of financial funding and loads of you have to get a big loan from a bank or business grants and things like that. Was that not the way you went then, in terms of just starting it small and keeping it that way for a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I never really wanted to go big too quick, and I never really inquired about the funding, but I know it was available and it was out there. But I took a risk, really, and me and my friend, we both used part of our savings to invest in starting up the business, and we acquired what we needed to. We made sure we didn't really overspend and spend a lot of money on things that we might not need. And there is the risk of that, but we actually did risk our own savings, really, within it. And because it was a small business, I decided to take that risk on. It's not something I was putting thousands and thousands of pounds into, whereas that's going to be more risky for ourselves. But as it is a small business, I decided to use our savings, really.
Yeah. And how interesting that you essentially cobbled together, your initial starting idea just from what have we got lying around, rather than what do we need and what do we have to go out and buy, just like, this is what we've got, let's make it. That's very intuitive. Fascinating. So in terms of that, then what did you enjoy about doing that as a kind of small business owner, because you were, and as an entrepreneur, what was like the highs and lows of that? What could be one or two things that were the best things and then the worst things about that?
So I would say the best things were when we were actually at the event itself, where we was actually selling our food, and just hearing some of the compliments from some of the customers. That was the best part of it. Just them complimenting how great the food tasted. It was just really good to hear that sort of stuff. Just positive comments.
Yeah. And did you basically set your own measuring stick for that? But if you liked the food and you were proud of it, then other people would like it as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, we did do some we did some trials, actually. So I gave out some freebies, friends, family, even at some of the events we'd give out some free food just so that they could sample the taste of the food, really. And again, it was always positive. So we just decided to stick with the recipes that we had, and go ahead and use that as our food on our menu.
Yeah. Okay. And what were some of the things maybe that you didn't enjoy, or I don't know if you're a no regrets kind of guy, or things you would have done differently?
No. I mean, obviously, I was still teaching full time as well. And it was demanding trying to juggle both. Teaching full time, and then having to prepare all the food for different events on Friday nights after work. It was very time consuming. It was more physically draining. That was the tough part of it. And I think that was the side of it I enjoyed the least, really, trying to get everything set up, trying to get everything prepared. And it was just the two of us, really, as well. So, I mean, it was a lot of work.
Yeah. And your passion was in the actual kind of delivery of the product, wasn't it?
Pretty much. Yeah,
yeah.
The actual cooking aspect itself, that was what I enjoyed the most.
So how do you think if you'd carried on with that rather than the teaching? What's your kind of opinion of the catering industry at the moment and that kind of street food industry? I mean, I don't know if you still keep in touch with it much, or I know obviously being going out and things has changed. So if you carried on with Cooked in Clay, do you think it would be all over now? Would you be putting it, to the side for a couple of years, or what's your kind of take on that at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, there are challenges at the moment, aren't there? One of my friends who's still going and she's still running her street food business. She's had to really adapt her business at the moment now. So it's more like delivery based rather than setting up at different events because of what's happened with the current situation. So it is challenging and it is tough. It's just having to try and find different ways of adapting and working around the current situation. If we were still trading today, who knows where we would have ended up. I'd have liked to have ended up as maybe becoming more of a catering business and expanded in that sense, maybe catering for large functions. That's where I would have liked to have seen the business go. But who knows? I mean, given the current situation, maybe we would have been bust. I'm not sure. But I think it's just a case of trying to adapt, really.
And I think that's the same for every business, whether you're catering or not. That seems to be the world we live in right now.
Exactly.
So in terms of entrepreneurs and things, because there will be business opportunities coming out of this global pandemic, and what advice would you give to those people then who are maybe 17, 18 or finishing university and thinking, I want to do my own business, but how does that work now in this world that we're in? What are like the key values that you think, as long as you do these few things, then you'll be on the right path? What advice would you give to young entrepreneurs?
Well, for me, I would say it's about having that passion and being persistent in what you're passionate in. So, I mean, everyone's got different interests. It's about finding what you enjoy, I'd say, and focus on that, and try to develop your skills within that area. Because if you're not interested in it, or you don't have an enjoyment in what you are doing, you're not going to make a success of it. You've got to sort of make it your own baby, really, and try and develop it. So you've got to have that interest, and I would say that's the biggest thing. And you have to have that element of risk as well. I mean, during these uncertain times, we have to take risk. We have to adapt in order to go forward. So I would just say, find something that you're passionate in and take the risk and developing it and going further.
Nice one, because like you said, the time element of it, that you were still working full time and then having to spend all your free time, your downtime, your relaxing time, then doing that business. Obviously the time element that you wouldn't have even got as far as you did if you didn't have the passion for it. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we did really well. I mean, it's unusual for a new business to find early success in terms of making a profit on in the first few gigs. So we did really well in that sense. Every sort of event and every catering function that we did do, we made a profit out of it. So that was really great.
It's amazing for a small business.
Yeah, it was, but it was physically demanding, I would say. But yeah, I would like to maybe potentially go back to it in the future. But I think my career at the moment, it lies in teaching, because again, that's another passion of mine.
Super. Well, thank you so much for your honest answers there. You've given an insight that I'm not able to. Really appreciate that in terms of
No problem, Danny.
the international side of teaching and setting up street food businesses. What a great combination of experiences you've got there. We appreciate it, Viren. So thanks for talking business with us. We'll be in touch soon, no doubt, and we'll see everybody again later. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Danny. Take care.
See ya.
See ya.
Viren, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us today. And can I also say thank you for being so honest in your answers and giving that great advice to people who are on the verge of thinking up ideas and trying to find ways to support themselves as we go through and come out the other end of this COVID-19 global pandemic. Thank you so much, and thank you all for watching episode 3. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.